Hi guys, and welcome back to the Iron Personal Training YouTube channel. We're back with another video, and this time we're doing a comp review video. So we're going to talk about how I got on at the 2024 British Single Lift ABPU Championships, and then talk about whether I've made it to Worlds or not. So we're going to start off and going into the comp. I was feeling very confident. Training had gone really well. Everything had felt really nice. Getting ready for the comp, I did have to do probably the biggest cut I've ever done. I probably stood for most of my training at around 113 to 114 kilos. So it was quite heavy for getting down into a 110s class. So I had to do quite a big cut to get in there. But we did it, we got down there, we weighed in at 108.6, so quite a big drop in weight. We got in quite comfortably, so obviously spent the day in Manchester, spent the day with Spencer, who was also competing in the single lift for the bench and the deadlift. For me, it was just the bench, for people who don't know. Ate, fed up, felt good, stayed over the night before, and then went into the comp. The comp was at the Fit Expo in Manchester again, and this is the second year in a row that I've done this comp, and once again it was organised and run fantastically by the people who run the British Powerlift Union. Emma and Carl and all the guys who help out do a fantastic job. Like usually at fitness expos, people have trouble warming up, people have trouble with like crowding and getting in. It was perfect. You could really do your warm-ups quite well, and yeah, everything was feeling good. So I did the warm-ups, did bar 660, 120, 140, 160, and then got ready to open at 170 kilos. And on the day, obviously nerves did start to kick in a little bit like they always do before competition. And when I say nerves, I feel like I'm on a roller coaster. So it's that excitement and the nerves about not knowing what's going to happen at the same time. And when I feel like that, I know it's actually quite a good feeling because you can harness it and use it into getting ready and in the right mindset for the comp. So we opened at 170, which is the heaviest I've ever opened at by 5 kilos. And I'll show you the video and then we'll talk about it.
Come on, Eddie!
So opened at 170, as you can see, and it moved really well. It honestly felt like there was nothing on the bar. It was really nice. It just felt lovely. It felt fantastic. A really nice lift. I did get told off a little bit for having my elbows slightly bent at the start. I just got told to straighten my arms out for the second attempt by Pete, who was a referee at the back. That was no big issue. We then went up and moved to 177.5 kilos. Here's a video again, and then we'll talk about it. So there's 177.5 kilos, which again felt fairly comfortable, a little bit harder than I was hoping it was going to feel, but still felt pretty good, and I was pretty happy with how things were feeling at this point. And then I put in 182.5 kilos, which would be a lifetime PB, would get me on the board in the gym. Went for it. I'll show you the video, and we'll talk about it afterwards. discrepancy. Unfortunately, I did miss the lift. It just came up to about 10 inches off the chest. I'm not very good with measurements, and it just stopped. It just hit a brick wall. I do think, looking at it back, if you watch the video back, you can see that I don't pull my chest up quite as much, and I don't think I got the setup quite right. I think I was thinking a bit too much about the weight and didn't have quite as good a setup as the other two. But it did feel like when it came up, it just like hit a brick wall and it wasn't moving. So I was disappointed to not hit that. Yeah, I was very disappointed not to hit that, really. I feel like it was there in competition. I do feel like the cut did have a big effect. I'm really considering now moving up to the 125 weight category. Now I've done training with a bit more like hypertrophy on the main movements and focusing a little bit more on muscle building and building up those weak points. I do find that I just sit kind of in that like 115, like 113, 114 weight range, and doing like quite a big cut. I definitely do feel like the effects of it. I definitely don't feel like I've got quite as much energy as you'd expect, and I don't feel like I've got quite the muscle mass as well. I feel like I do lose a little bit of that going into the competitions. I felt that a little bit when I went into the South Yorkshire qualifier earlier this year in March, yeah, so I think I am going to go up a weight category. So I was disappointed to miss the 182.5, but overall I was happy. The 177.5 was a 2.5 single lift comp PB, and I'd missed it only a few months before. In the March competition, I missed the 177.5. So to know that I've got that much stronger in like quite a short space of time is really good to know, because 177.5, as much as it wasn't like the easiest of lift, it wasn't like a grinder or anything like that. A little bit slower, a little bit of a slight pause in that crossover point, which is obviously a point that I need to keep working on, because that's where the other press failed as well in the comp in March. So that's the area I need to keep making stronger, but I have made it stronger already in what, a 6-week benching program. So I know by my next comp I should be able to at least get that 182.5 or somewhere around there anyway. Like, I'm feeling confident. Like, I do leave the comp looking at my bench press and feeling confident there is a lot more to come from it, and that it's not like oh god, I don't know where to go from here. A few little tweaks and I definitely think I'll have it. And I think with my bench, like, things are moving nicely, so there will be especially if I go up a weight category, there'll be some big jumps to come in my bench as well. So in terms of placing, I came third overall. The guy who won, whose name has escaped me, who won the year before as well, won with a 225 kilo bench, so like 500 pounds. He went for a British record on the last attempt at 230 or 235, I think, and missed that. But he's an incredible bencher. He's actually a disabled athlete, but just ridiculous at benching. Second place was Levi, who I competed against in the South Yorkshire qualifier comp, who won the South Yorkshire qualifier comp, so came second in this one with a 192.5 kilo bench. So even if I had got that 182.5, I wouldn't have finished any higher. And I do think maybe that played on my mind a little bit, that it wasn't like do or die, need to get it to qualify kind of thing, which is something interesting to think about. But I definitely think that possibly had an effect. Not a huge effect, but I definitely think it might have played a small part in me missing the lift. So that meant I came third. Top 3 get an invite to the British Championships. So would have meant that I've got an invite to the World Championships, in Ireland. But unfortunately, last year somebody. So last year, so for those who don't know, WPC and AWPC Worlds basically swap. 1 year it's in Europe and 1 year it's in the States. So last year the AWPC Championships were in the States. Unfortunately, I couldn't go. Finding that in May that you have to go in August, I didn't have the time or the money to like make plans go, and I felt like I wouldn't be competing at the best. And a lot of people did the same. So actually the person who qualified 4th in that competition ended up going to the Worlds and was the only person who were in that category and won with a 165 kilo bench. So because they were the only person in the weight category and they won with that bench press, that means the person, and they're from Britain, it means the person that comes third in the British Single Lift Championships unfortunately doesn't get an invite, which is quite hard to take. Like, when I looked, I was hoping the person who won it last year was going to have like a 200 kilo bench or something ridiculous, So knowing it was somebody who has a lower bench than you is a little bit hard to take, but you know, I did feel a little bit upset when I saw it, I'm not going to lie. But you know, this stuff happens in powerlifting. Like it's at the end of the day, if I'd have been stronger on the day, if I'd have got a 195 kilo bench, or if I'd have made more plans of like last year, I did not expect to podium at the Singular Championships, so I had no plans of going to a Wales or anything like that. So you know, I know for the future that plans like that needs to be put in place and needs to be made, but yeah, it was a little bit upsetting, I'm not gonna lie, but I just know I just need to get stronger. If I had a bigger bench, then this wouldn't be a problem. If I could bench more, like we wouldn't be having this conversation now. So unfortunately, I have just missed out on Wales, even though I came third. Or it is my second national podium 2 years in a row. So overall, you know, I'm happy. I've walked away with a comp PB. I know there's more to come from my bench. I do really need to consider if I'm going to make that weight category jump. I'm going to see, I'm waiting for the open powerlifting results to come out from the competition so I can see what people in the weight class above were getting. And if it's only a bit higher, or if it's very similar to what the people are getting in my weight category, I do think it's worth making that jump. Just so I'm going in at like my normal body weight. And I don't have to worry about cutting or anything like that. And like I do want to put on a bit more muscle, and I think putting a bit more muscle on, particularly for bench, in the back, in the chest, in the triceps, in the forearms, which is something that I've really tried to focus on training this time around as well, will obviously help me get that higher weight. And I've like walking around at like that slightly heavier body weight, I felt good, and I felt like I've looked good as well, although obviously that's not important, but I've not felt heavy. I've not felt like, oh my god, I'm like, this is awful, I can't walk down the road without being out of breath. So I think I can quite comfortably get to that weight. But that's it for the video, guys. Next competition is now going to be the powerlifting games in October, so everything's about getting ready for them now. That's going to be a full power meet. So yeah, so just gonna get rid of that. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video.